But there are certain things, witness, that they do need a book for you to read, for you to learn. They do need you serving under somebody else's leadership for you to actually gain more experience, And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we need to take that time in serving others for the benefit of us being served at the later stage and us leading at a later stage. Because then you lead from a point of knowledge and experience instead of ketla bona ko pele. Sometimes ketla bona ko pele doesn't work.
So if you're watching on TikTok and you don't know, or YouTube for that matter, and you don't know what ketla bona ko pele means, it simply means we'll cross the bridge when we get there. It simply means I'm going to do this thing and then I'm going to see. When we get there, that's when I'll figure it out.
Yes.
Somebody will ask you, aren't you going to go get a degree? I'll figure it out. I'll cross the bridge when I get there. Aren't you going to need to prepare yourself for that interview?
Yeah.
I'll cross the bridge when I get there.
Yeah.
Now, remember, if you're on TikTok, go onto YouTube, find the It's More Than Just Money Movement YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, click, comment, let us know what your thoughts are. There are many interviews there that we've put up, and obviously this one is coming up on YouTube as well. Now, tell me something, Tshego. At that moment when you realized that you knew nothing, a lot of people always argue and say you don't necessarily need a degree to become a businesswoman or a businessman. You don't need a degree to build a business. Yes, you wanted to be this professional person, but why is it that mindset of saying, I can do it without the degree, you had a diploma already, but I can do it without having worked for anyone. Why didn't that mindset take over you?
Oh, I don't know. I agree that you don't need a qualification for you to be a successful business person. I absolutely agree, because we have enough resources, especially now, to equip us to being the great professionals we want to be. At the time, I didn't have that. We didn't have so much knowledge that we have now. We didn't have so many resources apart from books, We didn't have the internet access that we have today.
And encyclopedias. You remember the encyclopedias?
That ABCD.
Till Z.
I had those. We had those at home. And I think
if you had those, you were blessed.
Yes, we did.
I didn't have an encyclopedia at home.
We did. At the time, that mindset, it didn't come. For me, remember we were raised in a family in a community where you have to go to school, get your matric certificates. That's the one tick, the first tick. The second tick is get your university education. That's the second tick. To my dad, what was important was the matric certificate. After that, he was like, whether you go to work or you want to go further your studies, it's fine. He'll support whatever. So what was important was go to school, get a job. That's what was taught to us growing up. So for me, I knew, okay, fine. If the business does not work, right? What do I have to fall back on? And I went with that mentality that rather let me build some foundational pillars for myself, so that if the business doesn't work, then at least I've got experience in agency, in corporate. I can still go back to get a job, or I have my qualification to fall back on. That for me was the mentality at the time. But also the mentality was that with or without that, I knew that I always had the hustle mentality that I will learn on the job. I will learn as I grow and develop things. I will pick up. I will still use YouTube. I will still Google, and learn as I go.
And then the entrepreneurial mindset, is that something you picked up growing up as well, or it's something you realized on your own that you wanted?
I don't know when it comes. I don't know when it came. I have no idea. I just knew when I was young that I was different. I was different to my peers, I love money. I love money. I
You're
love
like my
money.
daughter, my grandmother. I'm sure if my mother was still alive, she'd love money too. Women love money.
I love
Nyiko,
money.
Women love money, chief.
And from a young
And you wanted
age,
to work for your own money. Why didn't you just become a slave queen? No, it's a genuine question because I know
actually-
people that have said, I like money.
I
Therefore,
didn't-
I don't have to go to school. I don't have to work.
Yes.
Why didn't you at the time decide that I like money and I don't want to work? I'll find a man, could be older. He'll provide me everything I need.
That's such. Mona, that's why you don't prepare us for these interviews. I never saw myself as a beautiful girl
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
I never saw myself because I was always bullied for how I look, right? I never saw myself as a beautiful young black girl. That was never, I knew that was not one of my biggest traits, right? So, and the problem was that I was always friends with the hot girls at school. They were always my friends, so I'd always, my best friend would be the hottest girl at school, but I always knew that I'm not as beautiful as her. I wish I was, but I'm not. And I'm bullied because I've got short hair. I've got a big forehead and I've got this thin body. And I was always bullied for it, and I was called names for a long time. So
For being thin.
with a gaspong, and short hair. So I was always bullied for how I look. And because of that, my mentality at the time was, okay, if I'm not going to get things because of how I look, then I need to work for them. The only other way is to work for them.
Did you think other people would get things because of how they look?
Because they did.
They did.
My friends did. Yeah, the hot girls, they did. They would have boyfriends. They would give them money. They did. So for me, because I didn't have that, I didn't see myself worthy of being a girlfriend to somebody. I didn't see myself worthy of getting gifts from boys. When there was those Valentine's days and, boys would write letters to the girls, I never saw myself worthy to be getting a letter from any boy, So I always knew if my looks are not working for me, then something else has to work for me. And I knew that I'm smart.
Is that why you were always in the top 5 at school?
Because I'm smart.
Yeah.
So I knew I'm smart.
Were you smart? There are people that are naturally smart.
Yeah.
And there are people who work hard to be smart because they realize if I don't, then I'm finished.
I think I was naturally smart because I could always think of solutions and I could always look at things differently, So I was always, in a way, a bit ahead of my peers when it came to mindsets, So I think I was always smart. I don't know if smartness is what you when you're born with it. I don't know. But I've always had that brain that I can do anything, as long as I put my mind to it, I can do it. That's how I thought of organizing events at school when none of the students thought of organizing events.